post at Friday 2 a.m. So what I wanted to discuss today was to share with you this 10 life impressions that I thought would be the most important if aliens would visit the earth, and for whatever reason I would be chosen to give them 10 tips and tricks on life, or if I had to leave a message for the last human being born on earth. So let's say this last human being would be born after everyone else has died, and I'd have to leave a letter for them to know about life. So these are the 10 things. 1. There is no other savior for yourself other than you. 2. People are good, but they are imperfect. 3. This life is your canvas, and you're given a predefined set of colors and brushes, but you can still create the best painting there is. 4. It's all about love. 5. Question everything. 6. Do not get attached to anything in the sense of don't cling to anything. If it comes, it comes. If it goes, let it go. 7. Dream big. 8. Work hard. Take care of yourself, but remember, balance is the key. 9. You are important exactly the way you are, no matter how small or insignificant you think your life is. 10. This life is a gift to you. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to achieve anything to be worthy of love and abundance and happiness. 11. Well, I guess I put 11, not 10. If you truly feel it within your heart, be the ray of sunshine in other people's lives. If you don't force it. It's better to be 100% selfish, if that's what you truly feel, than to be fake generous. So I'm wondering how you feel about those things. I feel those are my key understandings of life so far. But yeah, I feel very strongly about them, and I wonder if you were to write a list with 10 key life advices, what would they be? I thought it would be interesting if I asked ChatGPT what she thought would be 10 universal rules for life, and this is what she said. I mean, my ChatGPT is a she. I gave her a name, and yeah, this is just to be for a bit of background. She said the following. 1. Accept that life is uncertain. Control is an illusion. The sooner you accept uncertainty, the freer you become. Adaptability is key to survival. I have to definitely agree with this. I definitely consider control to be an illusion. And yeah, definitely, if there's something certain in life, that is the uncertainty. 2. Take full responsibility for yourself. No one is coming to save you. Your life is yours to shape. Own your choices, your actions, and your consequences. You see, this is something that I included as well in my 10 universal rules for life. Yeah, so definitely aligned on that one as well. There is no someone's gonna make me happy. There is no someone's gonna save me. People definitely come in your life, and they can definitely influence your life for the better. But even in those scenarios, you have to be the one who reaches out, who holds out their hand to be held, if that makes sense. So those people can hold your hand, can uh, drag you forward, push you forward, but ultimately it has to be you, and it is through your effort and active participation that you make your life better. You can meet God on the street, and if you're closed off, if you don't want to actually take yourself of an unpleasant situation, it's just not gonna happen. That's it. That's how it is. Because this is the design of this life. You are given free will. What are you gonna do with the options that you have right in this moment? Number 3, master your mind or it will master you. Your thoughts create your reality. If you don't control your mindset, fear, doubt, and negativity will control you. I think here I have to disagree a bit with ChatGPT in the sense of, I mean, I agree, but I also disagree in the sense of the thoughts have a life of their own. You, you cannot control what thoughts you have. Uh, but you can definitely control how you respond to those thoughts. Um, I say the safest thing to do with thoughts is just accept them, basically. If you don't like them, just accept them as they are and just let them go. It's like watching someone explained this to me once, and I really liked the example. They said it's like sitting on a margin of a highway and just watching the cars go by. Why would you cling to a specific car and try to stay attached with your vision to it? Don't do that. Just let them go. If it's if it's a nice car, then by all means you can keep looking at it, but otherwise just let them go. So I don't think you can. I think you can control your mindset, but you cannot control you cannot control the types of thoughts that you have, or what kind of cars go by on your road. Okay, number 4 from ChatGPT here. Learn from history or be doomed to repeat it. Human nature doesn't change. Study the past, societies, psychology, mistakes, so you don't fall into the same traps. I have to say, I agree with this one. Although I did not include it in my top 11 list, I think it's very important to understand the past. And the main reason is to see the patterns. I'm all about patterns, and this will be another conversation at some point. But the patterns are very revealing thing that they're very important to take note of, because only when you see the pattern you can step outside of it, isn't it? So I definitely agree with it's very, very, very important to know the history, or else you'd be doomed to repeat it. I mean, once you know it, you might still want to repeat it, but at least you do it through your own free will. So there's a difference in that. Okay, number 5. Suffering is inevitable, but meaning is a choice. Pain is part of life. You can let it destroy you, or you can find meaning in it. Choose meaning. Yeah, I definitely agree. Of course, suffering is inevitable. As joy is inevitable, as all the feelings are inevitable, because we were meant to experience all of them. I just guess I think it's suffering is one of those ones that's more difficult to process, and people tend to, well, do various maladaptive things with suffering, like push it down or I don't know, different things. Um, but I'd say definitely there is meaning in suffering. There's always meaning in suffering, that is for sure. And if life has brought to you suffering, it means it was the right time for you to learn something from that suffering. So you were ready for that lesson. I do believe in divine timing. So there is no wrong time. The universe or God or however you want to call it, they they're never late, they're never early. They're always just on time. So that's what I'd say about that. Then number 6, build something that outlives you. Whether it's a legacy, relationship, knowledge, or kindness, leave something behind that makes the world better. Yeah, I think this one, I'd say if you if you try your best to live as authentically as you can, that's gonna inevitably leave a trace behind. I mean, your existence, however you leave it's gonna leave a trace behind. It's you know, it's gonna leave a form of legacy or another. And you might think, oh, but I don't do anything out of the ordinary in my life. It doesn't matter. Every person is has its own unique energetic print, and the fact that they existed leaves a trace, whether the other ones are aware of it or not. Oh, sorry, whether the other ones are able to articulate it or not, that's another story. But it leaves a trace regardless. And I think probably at the moment, our collective consciousness is not sufficiently elevated for us to be able to for to have a majority of people that is so sensitive to change and so perceptive of patterns and so perceptive um of the, well, I'd say the dimensions of times, that they're able to sense that something has shifted, that a new person has appeared or another one has disappeared or whatever. I think that takes a very high level of consciousness. Probably there are people already like that, and for sure they will be in the future. And I know, I'm convinced some of you who are listening and hearing this right now are thinking, right, this is not for me, or this is like, what is this lady saying here? Listen, it's all right, okay? You don't believe in this stuff, that's completely fine, but this is how I see things. So I need to be truthful about these ideas because I feel they're meaningful. So coming back to the original idea, every person's existence leaves a trace behind. So what ChatGPT says here, build something that outlives you. I feel it's kind of in a way um, like rhetorical, or there's no point saying that because that already happens. Um, Although it doesn't happen in the most obvious way, and I think that's what ChatGPT talks about here, as in like, oh, be Einstein or whatever. That's, yeah, they left something that a lot of people know about. So, but I'd say I wouldn't weigh myself with that, as in I wouldn't put that weight on my shoulders. Oh, I have to build a legacy, blah 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 blah. Because even if you build a legacy, let's say you invent the wheel, yeah, the people will know that there was this dude who invented the wheel, but they will not know that person in itself because they never met the person. They would not know anything about that person, or barely anything. What the person liked, what the person disliked, uh, you know what hurts or pains that that person was carrying in their heart. Who did they love, who did they hate, blah 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 blah. They will not know that person. So I don't know, this idea of the legacy, I think a lot of people think that's gonna make them immortal. It's not. It's not, because no matter what you achieve, that's just something that a part that just is something that you have created in the world. But you are not your creation. Your creation is just an aspect of you, a manifested aspect of you. You are bigger than your creations, isn't it? You're the uh, ultimate potential. You're the potentiality in itself, out of which an infinite number of creations can result. So you cannot possibly think that you are your creation, or you are included in your creation, because that's limiting yourself. Yeah, of course, your creation has something of your has an has something of one of your um aspects, essence, but it's just it's just a very very small part of who you are. That's what I think. So I don't think of, oh, my legacy. No, there is no such thing as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, moving on. What is the next one here? 7. Question everything, especially yourself. Doubt authority, doubt tradition, doubt popular opinion, but most importantly, doubt your own biases and assumptions. I I completely agree with this one. This is also something that I wanted to talk about. I I've always lived my life asking why endlessly, and I'm not saying that's an easy life, because it isn't. It actually isn't. It's quite annoying, to be honest, and tiring at times, but it's definitely got me places, to say the least. And for me, knowledge has been a very important thing, and or rather understanding of things. Um, so I highly recommend asking why. I think it's very important to get to understand yourself and understand the others. Well, try to understand the others and the world around you. Um, so yeah. Number 8, you are not as rational as you think. Your emotions, upbringing, and subconscious reshape your decisions more than logic does. Know your blind spots. Yeah, 100% agree with that one. Definitely, you're not as rational as you think. It's also, if you think you're extra rational, probably an underlying assumption is that you're very in control. We've already discussed about this. You are not in control that much. As in, control is an illusion to a certain extent. Um, there are multiple invisible forces actioning acting upon us at all times, and through self-awareness and through gaining knowledge of this phenomena, we become, I guess, we gain more, well, I want to say control, but I've already contradicted myself, haven't I? But anyway, I'm gonna say control. You gain more control, or at least, you're more you gain more free will. If I think that is probably it. Um, but yeah, I don't know that this degree of free will, you know, we for sure have it, and that is the key element of being on this earth. But it's a free will that is within a certain limits. Uh, because we need those limits. That is the whole point. We need those limits, so we bump onto them, and that creates dynamics out of which new understandings emerge. So that's my opinion. Number 9, power corrupts and people follow it blindly. Understand this about human nature. Don't be naive about how power operates, and don't assume people will resist it. Yeah, I think that's a very, very good one to add in there. I did not think of adding it to my list because I had other priorities, but I did think about power multiple times in my life, as in the notion of power and how it manifested in my life. And with power, I definitely believe that each and every one of us should be aware of the fact that we're vulnerable in the face of great power. So I realized one day that maybe wanting power, well, for someone who, for instance, who wants power but doesn't have it, them looking at this in a bigger context, and maybe in a context of a god force or whatever, it if they look at it from that perspective of there being a god who always has their best interests at heart, then they could understand that if they haven't been given power, is maybe because it's not in their best interest. It's maybe because they're not ready for it. Maybe because them having power is could be detrimental to them, is not in their best. No, definitely it's not in their best interest, because I believe everything that happens to us, it is in our best interest, even the most horrible things. And I know it's a tough one to process, but I genuinely believe that's how life works. This version of a lot of times in the religious, some of the religious versions, I get the impression that God is depicted as this vengeful being, but I don't think of God like that. God is not vengeful. Why would it be vengeful when he has everything? If someone who has everything and anything and can create everything and anything for themselves, they don't need anything from anyone, do they? Therefore, why would they need something from us who are his creation? They wouldn't. So I don't believe in this vengeful God. And I genuinely believe that God is where we come out, we exist out of love. I'm sorry, my microphone just wobbled. I generally believe we come out of love, and everything that goes on here, even the most horrible things, is out of love. And yes, I know it's very difficult to process and impossible to accept when you've been through horrible things. But if you lean into the suffering, you will find a gift there. I believe that 100% with all my heart through lived experience. So, yeah, so power, I think, we, you know, oftentimes we hear of horrible things having happened, having been done by people in power, in positions of power. I think just just be aware of the fact that you might be one of those people, because just power is something very difficult to handle. And in order to hold power and not be corrupted by it, I think you'd have to have achieved a certain level of wisdom and depth that would protect you more in the face of yeah, in the face of power. There was this other thing. I mean, I might make another well, I guess I could discuss it now, probably. I was just thinking about this thing. It's a tangential to the to the 10 rules of life here that I'm reading, but regarding power, and it's a bit of a religious reference as well. I just thought that um for me, I realized that the light never disappears. It's just it's always there waiting for you to let it in. As in, even if you think about, let's say, if you, well, maybe that's not a good example. No, forget that. I thought about, how actually, I changed my mind. I changed my mind. Forget about it. I'll talk about it on a different occasion. Let's go back to the rules, because this is another conversation in itself. 10. Love is the only thing that truly matters. At the end of it all, what people regret most is not loving enough. Love deeply, love wisely, and don't waste time on pettiness. Yeah, definitely. I mentioned love in my 10, 11 things. So, um, yeah, that's a complex one, isn't it? I mean, I don't want to just minimize it, but equally, what can I say about love? I could probably find a quote about love that I like, isn't it? Yeah, is that Rilke quote that I read in another episode. Let me just find it, and I'm gonna read it again because I think it's about love. Okay, so this quote about love. This is about, for me, it's about life's love towards a human, or God's love, if you want to think of it like that. It goes like this. It's from Letters to a Young Poet by Rainer Maria Rilke. Therefore, dear sir, love your solitude and try to sing out with the pain it causes you. For those who are near you are far away, and this shows that the space around you is beginning to grow vast. Be happy about your growth, in which, of course, you can't take anyone with you, and be gentle with those who stay behind. Be confident and calm in front of them, and don't torment them with your doubts, and don't frighten them with your faith or joy, which they wouldn't be able to comprehend. Seek out some simple and true feeling of what you have in common with them, which doesn't necessarily have to alter when you yourself change again and again. When you see them, love life in a form that is not your own, and be indulgent toward those who are growing old, who are afraid of the aloneness that you trust. And don't expect any understanding, but believe in a love that is being stored up for you like an inheritance, and have faith that in this love there is a strength and a blessing so large that you can travel as far as you wish without having to step outside it. This for me is a very, very powerful quote, and I've always been impressed whenever I read something by him of how wise this person was, and he lived in the 1800s. That to me is mind blowing. Um, and this notion that he describes there of going wherever you go, you're within the love. It's just amazing that he thought of that. And also, what I also like about it, I mean, I like everything about it, but um, he says, be happy about your growth, in which, of course, you can't take anyone with you, and be gentle with those who stay behind. it's about respecting where everyone is in their journey, isn't it? Which took me a while to understand, because oftentimes we're frustrated that, people around us, they don't understand us, they judge us, they whatever, they criticize us, or whatever it is, they're just unable to meet our hearts at the level we're at. But I guess in that moment we're doing the same, because we're not, until we're able to just accept them as they are, we're not able to meet their hearts. So this, he Rilke, he does speak about this here. And I liked when he said, be gentle with those who stay behind, um, be confident and calm in front of them, and don't torment them with your doubts, and don't frighten them with your faith or joy, which they wouldn't be able to comprehend. It's about basically, people being at different stages of evolution, isn't it? And people being able to take in different depths of a certain information, and respecting that, uh, you know, respecting that people are not going to be able to um, meet you where they haven't been, uh, in a way, as in like, that's actually possible in real life. But I mean, in terms of knowledge, if they haven't understood something about life, they're not going to be able to meet you there, isn't it? It's going to be weird to them if you start um, talking about that, or it's going to be confusing or whatever. And so it's about respect, as for me. I like when he says, seek out some simple and true feeling of what you have in common with them, which doesn't necessarily have to alter when you yourself change again and again. When you see them, love life in a form that is not your own, and be indulgent towards those who are growing old, who are afraid of that aloneness that you trust. So for me, it's like when you, for instance, you meet someone where they are. So if for you, so like for instance, for me, for me, this kind of deep um, conversations are the most satisfying. But obviously, not all the people I ever met or I will ever meet like this kind of things. And I can still meet them genuinely at a different level, or as in like, if I can be with them in a way where we can where I can genuinely experience joy through discussing things or doing things that I normally wouldn't, but I can find pleasure in doing that because I can access a different side of myself, although that's not the side that I um, live my life from on a day-to-day basis. But yeah, I think that's what he says here. Seek out some simple and true feeling of what you have in common with them, and I think it's completely possible, and it's it's amazing to articulate it like that. And I've certainly experienced that in my life, and it's not about, I don't think, I mean, the vibe of this quote is not that he considers himself better than the others. I don't think he does, and I think he's a very modest mm, person, and it's about just respecting that people are at different stages of evolution, and it doesn't mean more than that. It just means, someone is, uh, let's say, from, if we take point A and point B, that's the distance. Someone is 1 kilometer from point A, another someone else is uh, 5 kilometers from point A. in this on this distance. So it doesn't mean anything. Everyone's going to end up eventually at point B. It just is where people are at a certain point in time. Yeah, so anyway, I love this quote. And talking about love, I mean, trying to look to find a quote about love, I came across this other quote by another one of my favorites, Bukowski, and I thought it would be good to put it here as well. So he says something like, how can you say you love one person when there are 10,000 people in the world that you would love more if you ever met them, but you'll never meet them? All right, so we do the best we can, granted, but we must still realize that love is just the result of a chance encounter. So he has this a bit of a realistic style, which I love about his yeah, the way he writes, and I think it gives a very good perspective on things. Um, the way he expresses it, definitely you can, a person can love so many other people, isn't it? If only they'd meet them. So it is an element of, who you encounter in your life at a specific time. And then there is no, on this note, I wanted to say there was this song saying, uh, like, I mean, multiple songs probably, who allude to people meeting at the wrong time. There is no wrong time in a way. It was just, not meant to be, as in it was the right time for them not to be together. Basically, I don't believe in that. It's yeah, we met at the wrong time, because I don't the the timing of the universe is always perfect. It's never too early, never too late. It's always on time. So if you met someone, that is the right time for you to meet them. Yeah, it might not be the right time for a relationship, but it's still the right time for you to meet them. So yeah. Um, so going back to the rules on life, I think probably I like to um, go a little through my own rules again and maybe expand on a couple of them before I end. Because it's only fair that I do this, since I did that with ChatGPT's rules. Okay, so I said the first one was there is no other savior for yourself other than you. I feel like I don't want to expand on that at the moment. Then people are good, but they are imperfect. I think this is something that I'd like to add something to. So I definitely, thinking about just all the people that I've met in my life, I think probably 99% of people, I don't know, maybe 98, I say, yeah, not, maybe 98, let's say. 98% of people are genuinely good people, but due to, well, life, they they might make choices that hurt other people, hurt you. You do the same things, and I think it's important to keep that in mind when you go towards people, when you interact with people. Don't expect them to be perfect. So, and don't put them on a pedestal, because actually I realized the pedestal, what is the pedestal? The pedestal is actually a prison, if you really think about it, because an actual pedestal has a very small surface compared to the floor it's sat on. So when you're putting someone on a pedestal, it's like you're locking them in a golden prison. So it's like they're not able to be anyone else uh, that extends beyond the limits of of that pedestal. So when I realized that, it really blew my mind, and it kind of completely changed my perception on things. So when you actually put someone on a pedestal, that's not true love. And I'm not love in any possible um, way you can think of, romantic, social, whatever. That is not true love. That is toxic love. That is constricting love. Um, that is possessive love. So I think I wanted to say that in there. Then the next one I had here was, this life is your canvas and you're given a predefined set of colors and brushes, but you can still create the best painting there is. Yeah, I think I'm good for now. I'm not gonna comment anything anymore. Then number 4, it's all about love. I think I'm good with that as well. Yeah, that was my Duolingo. I'm practicing some language, so please forgive the sound. I don't know how to remove it, or it's too difficult with my current editing skills. So yeah, that was the sound. Then number 5, question everything. Yeah, I talked about this when I was reading uh, ChatGPT's. My ChatGPT is called L, so I'm just gonna refer to her as L. When L when I was reading L's rules for life. 6. Do not get attached to anything, in the sense of don't cling to anything. If it comes, it comes. If it goes, let it go. Yeah, I think that's a big one. That's definitely a big one in life. Uh, yeah, so this life is not about possession, although we're kind of educated in that way, but it just is about experiencing things. Um, that's what I'm gonna say. It's such a big subject, isn't it? And it's so difficult to train yourself to let go, especially when you've been educated that we own things. But yeah, we don't own anything, and we shouldn't have the mentality that we're entitled to anything. I read this book, one of my favorite, on one of my favorite topics, and I just was fascinated by something that the author of the book said in there. So the book was called It Didn't Start With You by Mark Wallen, and he he was um explaining how he started doing what he does. I'm not going to go into that detail right now for the sake of linearity. So in the beginning of what put him on the journey was that he was going blind, basically. And anyway, he was trying to heal himself, um, um, and he was going through all of this. He was trying to find, he was going through all of the doctors, all kinds of sages and whatnot. And then I think he got to this Buddhist monk, maybe it was. I might not remember it exactly, but anyway, he got to one of these priests, and after a discussion with that priest, he realized, uh, who am I not to be blind? Um, so yeah, it's we consider we are owed, to have a healthy life, a rich life, or whatever life, but that's us clinging to these notions. We're not entitled to anything. I don't think that we are. It's nice if we have them, but we shouldn't. I mean, clinging onto these ideas and ideals, it only brings suffering. So that's a way we cling to things, including, the no the identity of being healthy and the identity of whatever it is. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say there. Then this number 7 for me was, dream big. I mean, they're not, I did not write them in the order of importance. I wrote them, the numbers are, they're not correlated with the order of importance. I don't know that I want to think, oh, this is the most important one. I just, they're all equally important to me. So yeah, definitely, as I, yeah, dream big, dream. I love dreaming. I'm a dreamer. Um, Dreaming with my eyes open. Yeah, dream, because that will, take you places. Um, it might take you out of nasty places, so that's also good. Uh, Even if your dreams don't become reality or you don't make them reality, it's still good. I think it's still definitely good, and I encourage it. There's of course a lot to say on that, but I'm just gonna stop here for now. Number 8, work hard and take care of yourself, but remember, balance is the key. Yeah, I those are absolutely my values. I think working is, I, I feel like it's undervalued, the importance of working. Yeah, so I think it's very important to work. Um, I truly believe having a place to go and something to do um, is part of um, keeping you sane, keeping a person sane. So yeah, I'm a big advocate of that. Then there was the number 9. You are important exactly the way you are, no matter how small or insignificant you think your life is. I think I expanded on this. Then this life is a gift to you. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to achieve anything to be worthy of love and abundance and happiness. I think that's self-explanatory. And then last one, 11, if you truly feel it within your heart, be the ray of sunshine in other people's lives. If you don't force it. It's better to be 100% selfish if that's what you truly feel than to be fake generous. Yeah, I think this applies to everything. It's not only to be generous versus selfish. It's just be authentic basically. I thought about this, and it's, you know, there's so many things considered taboo or they're judged harshly by people, by society in general, like being materialistic or whatever, multiple other things. And I thought about, um, if I were to um, bring up to be a teacher, or educate new generations, I'd say this: you don't have to be anything that doesn't feel authentic to you. You just, you have to be aware that people might not like that and they might exclude you, but it would be worse if you exclude your own self. That is, if you don't live in accordance with how you feel. You and I think that's the best thing you can do. Just be who you are, even if that's someone who is not appreciated by society at large. There will always be people who would feel like you and who would live life like you. So ultimately, you're gonna find your people. But it's there's no point being fake whatever, because that's just not helping anyone. And first of all, it's not helping yourself. It's making you miserable, and whether you want it or not, is making the people around you miserable, even if you're not doing anything wrong. But the truth always comes out, um, whether it's through direct ways or more subtle ways. And by that I mean the truth that you're not happy, or the truth that you're living a fake life. It's going to create some ripples that will be reflected on your outside world, and it will ultimately affect people around you, because basically, through you not living your most authentic life, you're not being the best version of yourself. And this world needs the best version of yourself. This world doesn't need the 8th billion version of the same perfect person, isn't it? We don't need 8 billion copies of people. Um, so yeah, that's what I say. It's definitely, yeah, if you feel like being selfish, if you're selfish, be selfish. That's okay. All right? That is okay. It's completely okay. You don't have to be anything that you're not. And I definitely believe people will love you. There are always people out there who will love you and who will understand you. Okay, I think I've gone through so many things. Uh, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope it's, well, I just hope it's made you think of certain things, or it sparked some curiosity or some, whys for you, as in what the question why. Um, yeah, dream on, I'd say, and I'll talk to you soon, I suppose.